Now, Nigeria's ruling party inaugurated a new national chairman last week. Former Enugu State Governor Kwesile Nwodu will lead the People's Democratic Party into next year's presidential election. And joining us to discuss this political change is VOA's West Africa correspondent, Scott Stearns. Well, of course, Scott, you know, our audience have been seeing you all around the West African region doing fantastic work. We're so happy that you're actually in the studio with us. Now, talking about what's going on in Nigeria, of course, there were many contenders for this national chairman position. Why Nwodu, and how significant is his appointment?
Well, I think it's clear that Mr. Nwodu would have only gotten this job if President Goodluck Jonathan wanted him to have it. And in his introductory remarks, he's made clear that the People's Democratic Party under his leadership will be a distinctly different party. As you recall, most recently the party has been split by members of a so-called Reform Forum who wanted to dilute the power that powerful state governors had in choosing who will be the next presidential candidate and some of the senior candidates for the legislature. Mr. Nwodu, on accepting the chairmanship of the party, said that the party has been led with reckless abandon in the past by political godfathers and godmothers who have imposed candidates with little leadership ability. And he's vowing that the next choice for party candidate will be done more democratically. He says that the PDP has come to power in Nigeria on the goodwill of the Nigerian people, and he believes that previous leaders of the party have squandered that goodwill.
Now, of course, the national chairperson has a very, very influential role in, of course, the elections coming up. What would you say is the likelihood that Mr. Jonathan now will run, considering, you know, the odds that were facing Mr. Nwodu before he became chairperson?
I think that President Jonathan will run for president, given the speed with which he moved to appoint a new cabinet even before President Yar'Adua died last month. And he is certainly laying the groundwork for a run. He chose a vice president who is not a political heavyweight, so clearly he has no obvious heir apparent. We have to remember, though, that the informal regional power sharing agreement in Nigeria, specifically within the ruling party, says that the next ruling party nominee will be from northern Nigeria. President Jonathan had an obstacle then, because of course he's from southern Nigeria, in the previous ruling party chairman, Vincent Agbulafor, who not only disbarred members of the so-called Reform Forum, but said, even before President Yar'Adua died, that the next ruling party candidate would be from the north. That was clearly an obstacle to President Jonathan being a candidate. Well, Mr. Agbulafor is gone, and the new party chairman, Mr. Nwodu, was handpicked by President Jonathan through some considerable difficulty. Mr. Nwodu was a previous member of the PDP. He left and was a member of several other parties before quite recently rejoining the party. At the party conference that named him chairman, there had to be some legal wrangling to go around parts of the party constitution that forbid a party officer from being someone who had left the party within the last year. President Jonathan, his supporters got that through, and they now have the man they want running the ruling party.
Okay, now just in a very few seconds, of course, you're going to be with us for a few days this week. What are we likely to see within the next few days after this announcement?
I think that Mr. Nwodu, again, has said that he wants the ruling party to be more democratic, and I think you'll see some movement by him to engage party members more in this ongoing debate within the PDP about who will be the next presidential candidate. Given that he was chosen by Mr. Jonathan, I can only imagine that that public debate will continue to push toward a Goodluck Jonathan candidacy. There are Goodluck Jonathan for president posters in Abuja and in the Niger Delta. So far, President Jonathan says that his main priority is to keep the country on task, to finish out the term of President Yar'Adua, and that he'll make a decision in time about whether he should be a candidate.
Scott Stearns, excellent. Thank you so much for that account. We'll be, of course, seeing you again right here over the next few days.